Good morning, my friends. It is time for Monday morning motivation. I am on my own this morning. Ash is getting ready. She's headed over to the studio. She is working on a project and going to be mixing today with our producer buddy Pat. So she is not going to be joining us because she's getting dressed right now, getting ready to leave. So we're going to have to try to have a little bit of extra fun for her since she is not here with us. So, how is everyone doing? Please let me know you are here and just say hello. Let us know where you're watching from. If you're brand new, welcome. I'm very glad you're here. Thank you to the moderators that I can see that are already in the chat. You guys are amazing. This is going to be hopefully a lot of fun. So let's see who all is here before we dive into our subject today. There is Janelle, one of our Rockstar moderators, says hello and welcome everyone. Please make sure you subscribe to the Chris Cooking Nashville Studios channel. Yes, absolutely. If you were watching this on my main Chris Cooking Nashville channel, you might not know I have a second channel called Chris Cooking Nashville Studios. It is linked in the description box for you, and knowing my moderators, I'm sure it'll pop up in the chat as well. But I want to move all of my health-related type stuff to that Studios channel. I'm doing these on both channels right now because a lot of people don't know that Studios channel exists. So I want them to know that that is over there. Eventually, all of those types of things will be hosted on that channel specifically. And then all of the food stuff will be hosted on the main Chris Cooking Nashville channel. That way you can kind of pick and choose what you're interested in. But in the meantime, just trying to get the word out that is there. So if you guys don't mind, please go subscribe if you like stuff like this. Janelle also says, please hit the thumbs up button. Yes, please. That is extremely helpful. That means so much to me. And it just tells YouTube that you enjoy things like this and that this is something that they should tell people that it exists. So please hit that thumbs up button if you don't mind. Comment, let us know you are here. Rockin' Keto Amy is in the house, says, hi, everyone. You guys don't know, Keto Amy has a channel as well. You guys should go check her out. She is awesome. Patricia Hoffman is here. Hey, from South Carolina. Hope you had a good weekend. You know, we did. It was very busy. Ash and I had a show in Virginia on Friday night and then spent Saturday driving back. It was about a 10-hour drive for us to get there Thursday. And then Friday we played a show, and then Saturday we drove back. And then last night, I did a special live stream with Victor of Southern Keto and Dustin from Keto Simple. If you were there, let us know. Let us know how you liked that. If you weren't, you can go see that replay on either of my channels, and would love for you to check out what we're doing. We're doing a new thing called Keto Crusade, and we're probably going to start out doing that once a month. And it's about getting the word out and creating a community that is inclusive of all of these people on the proper human diet. Dustin made a really good point, and this is a little bit of sort of related to what we're talking about today, but Dustin made the point that there are a lot of people that have kind of split off into factions of the proper human diet. You have the really dirty keto people here, and you have the super clean keto people here, and you have the ketovore people over here, and you have the carnivore, dirty carnivore stuff like I do here, and you have someone over here with a whole group that's like really strict carnivore, even lion diet, and everyone kind of tends to think of themselves as separate groups of people because they have a little different style of how they do this. And with Keto Crusade, we think it's a great opportunity to take everyone from all these communities and show them how we all have a lot in common and how we can support each other, even if we have slightly different styles of what we do. So if you guys didn't know that we were doing that, that was last night. So yes, Patricia, we had a busy but wonderful weekend. I hope you had a wonderful weekend as well. Lynn is here. 22QCat is an OG of Chris Cooking Nashville, says, hey, Chris, Ash, Janelle, and Amy so far. Happy Monday, all. Yes, we are very glad you are here. And, of course, Cindy DeManch is here, another Rockstar moderator. Good morning. I'm on both this and the Studios channel. Well, thank you very much, Cindy. If you guys have the ability, pull up both channels and watch this simultaneously. That actually helps me on both sides. So thank you so much, Cindy, for being here and for all you do to help us out. Maritza Garza is here. Hello, Maritza. Good to see you. Another Rockstar moderator. And Cindy says she's doing well, and she's from Kentucky. Paul is here. Hello from Ontario, Canada. Man, you're a long way away from Nashville. That's cool. I'm glad you're here, my friend. Sherry, our Nevada pup, is here. Says, good morning. Good morning, Sherry. We're very glad to see you. Janelle says, Cindy, it's a good thing Chris doesn't have 3 more channels. You got that right. 2 is already more than I feel like I can keep up with most days. Marilda is here. Good morning, Chris. God bless you. Well, the same to you, Marilda. I'm very glad you are here. Mindy Weller, first time on. Hello from Illinois. Mindy, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so glad you are here. Very, very glad you found us. And hello to you in Illinois. Maritza says, please like and share, everybody. Yes, you can like. That is free and low carb, as is the share function. You can send this to a friend, tell them about this on social media, send a text message. There's all kinds of ways. Let people know we are here because that helps us grow the community and help as many people as possible. Blessed in Cali is here, says hi from Northern California, Ramona and Jim. Hello, Ramona and Jim. I'm so glad you guys are here. Loretta is here. Hello, good morning. Hello to you, Loretta. Very glad you are here. Patricia is correct here. Uh-oh, Chris is unsupervised. I am unsupervised, although my wife is still within earshot right now somewhere in the house, so I have to be careful until I know she's gone, and then I can totally get out of control and cause all sorts of shenanigans. So we're just hanging out until she leaves, and then things will get wild. There's Dustin from Keto Simple. Hey, dropping by to say hello. I'm doing boring adult things today. Wish me luck. Well, man, that's no fun. Gosh, that whole adulting thing just gets in the way. That just gets in the way. Yep. And there's Cindy adding that YouTube link for you all. Richard Williams is here. Good morning, neighbors from Copper Hill, Tennessee. And we've got Dale 38S. Good morning, Dale. How are you? We're glad you're here. And we have a whole bunch of people saying hello in the chat to each other. Tanya is here. Good morning, Chris and everyone. Well, good morning to you. There's my dad on both channels. I imagine my mom is at work right now, so she's probably either working and unable to watch or has to have me on mute. So, you know, she gets a little rebellious like that sometimes. Puts it on in the background. Let's see. Cindy says, Chris, I was there trying to keep up on all 4 channels. LOL. Cindy, you are just incredible that way. We love you so much. I don't know how you do as amazing as you do as a moderator. I would not be able to keep up. You are amazing, as are Janelle and Maritza. And I have a few other moderators as well who I don't believe are here yet, or maybe won't be able to join us today. But you guys are just awesome. You just keep everything going. Thank you so much. Lynn says, of course I was there last night for the Keto Crusade premiere. Yes, Lynn is always so supportive of these kinds of things that we do. She is amazing, and we had a really great time. And Janelle says she is on both too. Thank you so much, Janelle. Jolene is here. Hi, everyone from Connecticut. Hello, Jolene. So glad that you are here. There is Dustin. He is a moderator on my channel as well. Says the stream went very, very well. Be sure to let us know your thoughts and what you might want to see from us going forward. Absolutely. We would love to know how we can make that as impactful for you guys and as helpful as it can possibly be. And Dustin and Victor are just great dudes. And it is really a pleasure to get to do this with them. I think that we make a pretty good team, and we're having a lot of fun, and we would love to know what we can do to make this as beneficial for you guys as possible. So if you have subjects or you have things you'd like to see or any of that stuff, let us know what is interesting to you so we can see what we can do to incorporate things that are helpful. And Dustin or any of the other moderators, please feel free to put both Keto Simple, Dustin's channel, as well as Victor at Southern Keto, their channel, in the chat. So if you guys don't subscribe to Dustin and Victor, they are amazing and they have great stuff as well, and would love for you to subscribe to their channels. And if you don't subscribe to either of my channels, one or the other, please make sure to do that as well for me. I would appreciate that. Marie is here listening in at work. Well, thank you, Marie. Appreciate that very, very much. And there is Shirley, love and light. Same to you, Shirley. I believe that is Nurse Shirley up in the north. And we have Addicted to Antlers. Good morning to you. Patricia says, as if grandma here could figure out a split screen. Oh, Patricia, you are just adorable. We love you, and that's all right. You just do what you got to do. And maybe you can find someone at some point who's like, yeah, here you go, and they can help you out with that. No problem. Sherry says, I have both channels up, one with sound and one with the sound turned off. Look at that. Making things work. This is how we play things and play the game, guys, and you know, get things growing and get things moving and shaking. That's how we do it. Tapu out Ma, I don't know if I'm saying that right or not, says howdy from Texas. Have a blessed day. Well, the same thing to you. We appreciate you being here. And let's see. Cindy says Dale 38S is Brian. Well, hello, Brian, and thank you for watching and helping out. We appreciate you very much. If you guys don't know, Brian, not only is he Cindy's guinea pig, but he also does amazing things like cutting boards and coasters and all these kinds of stuff where he can do custom work. And Cindy, if you have any links or anything for anybody where they can go see that, feel free to drop those in. You guys should totally go check out Brian's work. I know it's all over Cindy's channel. Cindy, please feel free to put your channel in there too. But also, if you watch my video I did with Cindy and Brian, he made a cutting board, a very special gift for me. And you can see like an example there of the work. And I also put some pictures of the kind of work he has available for purchase. If you guys are interested in something like that, the holidays are coming, so you might be interested in having something like that. I am throwing my mouse across the room today. Sorry. But yeah, Cindy, feel free to drop any of that in, and you guys can go watch that video that I did with Cindy and Brian and see some pictures on there as well. Let's see. And everyone is congratulating Cindy, I believe, on being a great grandma at the end of December. Yes. Yes. Congratulations, Cindy. And Cindy's just saying hello to everybody and dropping in a bunch of links there for you guys. Please make sure to go check that out. So there is Mr. Keto Simple Dustin, and then of course there is also Southern Keto, which is Victor, and I know they would appreciate the subscribe. So awesome. And there is Lynette from Keto Chow. Hello, Lynette. I'm so glad that you are here this morning. And we got our salty packets in the mail. Thank you so much. Those are just vital in our day. I had a long day of getting things together yesterday and cooking and running to the grocery store and all kinds of stuff. And I'll tell you guys a little bit about that. But I realized I didn't have any electrolytes yesterday until last night after the live stream I did with Dustin and Victor. And I made a stoked mango and added a splash of almond extract and a little bit of lemon juice. Man, it was so good and it was so needed, made me feel so much better. And it was really nice to hydrate before bed because then I didn't wake up feeling like super thirsty in the middle of the night. And that'll happen to me sometimes. I'll not get electrolytes before I go to bed. And then I literally dream about drinking. Like I'm thirsty in my dream and I'm trying to drink and it's like I can't drink enough water in my dream. And then I wake up and I'm stupidly thirsty. And I'm like, okay, well, then that's definitely the problem. So I crave my electrolytes when I don't have them. So if you guys did not know, Keto Chow and SaltT are amazing, and they have salty electrolytes in the packets, which, you know, I know a lot of people make their own. That's cool. But the packets are really nice for the convenience of travel, especially if you're getting on an airplane. They don't generally like you having big bags of white powder when you try to get on an airplane. So we like to carry the SaltT packets. There's no maltodextrin in these, and they're very transparent over at Keto Chow SaltT about everything that's in them. So you can check it out, and if the ingredients work for you, they're amazing. Ash and I have SaltT every single day. It makes us feel amazing. Out of all the electrolytes we have tried, they are our favorite, both with the taste as well as how they make us feel. They have a higher rate of potassium and magnesium per packet than many of the others out there. And whatever it is about the ratio and the kind of magnesium that they have, all these things, I used to drink other electrolytes and I would still wake up in the middle of the night with leg cramps and foot cramps and all this kind of stuff. And I was taking magnesium pills as well, and I still was struggling. Now that I drink SaltT, I never have leg cramps at night. I never wake up with any kind of pain, and 1 to 2 packs a day is plenty for electrolytes for me, which I was struggling to get enough electrolytes drinking the others. I was drinking like 3 to 4 servings of those a day. SaltT, 1 or 2 if it's a busy day, and I'm good. So I have a link in the description for you guys, which gives you a discount code, and it will take you over there to Keto Chow's website. You can get Keto Chow or you can get SaltT with my discount code. Just click that link that is in the description box. It'll take you right over, and you can get a discount on that if you would like to try it. And I see Carol in the description in the comments here, and she says, and no maltodextrin. Yes, and listen, there's a lot of talk about that whole thing with maltodextrin, and I'm not here to say what people were intentionally doing or not intentionally doing, and I think there's a lot of anger that maybe has been blown farther out of proportion than it needs to be, but I do understand people are feeling like trust was violated, and I totally understand that. And I think that, transparency is really important in a business like this, because it may not be an issue to have maltodextrin in something for some people. Other people, it might be a problem. And I think just being able to choose how you want to deal with that is important. That's why I appreciate Keto Chow and SaltT so much, because they are very clear about everything that is in their product. And that way, if you like it, you can choose to use it. And if the ingredients don't work for you, they understand that, but you know for sure what's in there, and you can choose not to use it as well. And I just think at the end of the day, informed people with knowledge can make the best decision, and that's the most important thing. That's why I love Keto Chow and SaltT. So Lynette, thank you for being here and all the things you do. And thank you to Chris and Miriam over at Keto Chow and SaltT for running things the way they do. We just appreciate them. Jackie's here. Good morning, Solo Chris from rainy Northwest. Well, hello, Jackie. I'm very glad you are here, and appreciate you being here so much. Everyone's saying hello, and Jolene just received her SaltT. Excellent, Jolene. We'd love to hear what you think about it. She says, drinking caramel cream now with vanilla collagen. Very cool. And there's Cindy posting the video for you guys of when she was here with me in the kitchen. Absolutely, we had a blast. Loved that. Jolene says, and the cost. Yes, absolutely. The SaltT and Keto Chow is just a little bit cheaper per packet, but it also has more of the stuff in it you need. So in reality, it's a lot cheaper for what you get. It's a wonderful thing. And there's Cindy agreeing, yes, Keto Chow is such an honest and loyal company. And I agree. And that's the thing. Chris Bear understands, like, if the ingredients don't work for you, it's not something you're interested in, that's totally fine. And he's okay with that. He's just going to be transparent about what's in it and what makes the product the way that they think is best. And if that works for you, excellent. And if it doesn't, that's okay. But at least they're going to tell you up front. DJ Magic Man is here. We met him very briefly in Virginia. How are you, my friend? I'm so sorry we didn't get to spend more time with you, but I know you had been up super long hours since very early that morning. So just appreciate you coming and meeting us and saying hello, but very glad you're here. Patricia says the unflavored SaltT is amazing in hot broth for winter. That's a fantastic idea. Add that into your broth. And speaking of broth, I'll have to tell you guys what I have cooking downstairs, what's going on. Shirley says, what keeps me on track is watching, listening to y'all Great little tips and tricks, especially you, Chris, following kind and beautiful souls makes it easy. Stay safe. 12-inch blizzard, Canada. Thank you, Shirley, so much. I appreciate that. And yeah, that's the reason we try to be here is we're just trying to give you guys tips, tricks, and inspiration that you can do this and try to encourage you, because this is not an easy thing to do if you feel like you're on an island by yourself. But when you have a community, it keeps you on track. And honestly, it's the reason I started a YouTube channel, and it's why I love and appreciate all of you so much. It makes such a huge difference for me, and that's why I just try to provide the same for everyone else. Low Carb Spin is here. Hi, everyone. Well, hello to you. We're so glad to see you here. I met these beautiful ladies at KPL, and what wonderful people. So they also have a channel that you guys can totally go subscribe to. They do cool stuff. So some neat recipes and different things over there. So moderators, feel free to drop them in if you have not already. So thank you, Karen, for being here. Jackie says, I wasn't able to watch your live with Dustin and Victor, but I was able to set it to play in the background on mute to try to help the algorithms. I'll have to catch the replay. Well, thank you, Jackie. We really appreciate that, and that does help the algorithm so much, and we appreciate you doing that for us. And yes, please go watch the replay, and then feel free to comment any of the things that you would like, or hopefully get some inspiration from that. And this is another thing, guys, for me, for Cindy, for Dustin, for Victor, for Low Carb Spin, for Rockin' Keto Amy, anybody, anyone you want to support that has a channel. There's so many people here that have channels. You can go to their channel and turn on a playlist and set it to where it will automatically play that playlist, and you can mute it and just leave it playing. And that, honestly, it helps us. You don't know how much that can help a YouTuber. So I have keto and carnivore recipe playlists. I have health vlog playlists. I have all kinds of stuff on my channel. You can just set a playlist to play, make sure it's just set to do it automatically, mute it, and you can walk away from it and leave it playing. And that's really cool. We appreciate that, and it just helps our channel. So if you want a free way to support the channel that really doesn't cause you any inconvenience whatsoever, that's a cool way to do it, as are things like our affiliate links, my Amazon shop, like all that kind of stuff. You can click those links for the products you're already going to buy, and those kinds of things just help us out. It doesn't cost you anything. So that kind of stuff is what keeps us going. We appreciate you. And it's not just me, it's all the creators that are here. So please support all of these people, because we're doing the best we can to try to offer good things in the world. Alan's Awesome Keto World is here, says good morning. Good morning to you, Alan. Appreciate you being here. Oh, there's Charlie Darth Carnivore. Hey, Chris, just caught the inaugural Keto Crusade replay from last night. Great work. Looking forward to more great content from all three of you. Well, thank you, Charlie. We're very glad you're here. And Charlie and I are going to be doing an interview. You guys keep your eye out for that. We're going to have some fun, and we're going to talk and hear about his story. Rockin' Keto Amy says, question, I just watched your stuffing video, and I want to learn how to debone a chicken to make broth. Well, Rockin' Keto Amy, you are in luck, because I have a giant crock pot right now of turkey broth being made downstairs. And in this video I'm doing, the reason I have that turkey broth being made, I roasted the bones, and I'm making turkey broth because I'm going to use it to make some gravy, because my video coming for Saturday is going to be my, unlike anything you've probably ever seen, Thanksgiving turkey. And this is completely different. This is not a put a whole turkey in an oven and roast it like everybody does for Thanksgiving. This is completely different. This is going to be a totally different way of doing a turkey. I think it's going to be really cool and a lot of fun. And in this video, I show you how I take the turkey and debone the entire thing and still leave it in one piece. So you get all of the bones out, and then you have the turkey just by itself with no bones in it. So this is going to be helpful for many reasons. But one of the things I do is I show you in there exactly how I debone that turkey from beginning to end, all of the steps. And it applies to turkeys, chickens, game hens, I mean, any kind of poultry. They're all basically made the exact same way biologically in terms of the bone structure and the different meats that are on there. So you will get to see exactly how I debone it. And then hopefully in the near future, I will be able to then show you guys how I use bones from a bird and roast them, and how I turn them into really gelatinous, beautiful bone broth, which is then what I'm going to make my turkey gravy out of. It's what I use for the broth in my stuffing recipe. It makes incredible soups with your leftovers. Like, there's all sorts of ways to use that. Or you can honestly just heat it up, add maybe some unflavored salty to it in the wintertime, and you can drink a cup of it in the morning. It's amazing. So I will definitely be showing you that, Amy. Thank you so much for that idea, and you are on a wavelength with me. And let's see. I see Jujubee is here saying good morning to everybody. And she says, good morning, friends. Just put 2 trays of bacon in the oven. All right. Well, Juju, I'm going to be at your house in a little while, so I'm looking for some bacon. Oh, man. Uh-oh. Chris Bear is in the house, says, I was summoned. Speak for the Chris, and he will appear. Yes. Well, thank you, Chris, so much for being here. Chris Squared is in the house now, and we're going to have a lot of trouble to cause, I'm sure. Let's see. Roberto is here. Hi, thanks for this program. Well, thank you, Roberto. Very much appreciate you being here, my friend. Roberto is so supportive of not only me, but of Ash, especially with her music. He is wonderful. And if you guys did not know, my wife, Ash Taylor, is a professional country artist. I play lead guitar for her and do manager stuff for her. We do all of this together. Normally she's here with my YouTube stuff, obviously, but this morning she's getting ready to head to the studio because, professional musician. So she's getting ready to head to the studio, but you guys can go to ashtaylor.com and you can find all of her links. She has a Patreon group called The Bad Ashes, which is her fan club you can join. There is all kinds of other stuff there, including merch, and she has her tour schedule. Anytime we're playing shows, she keeps that updated there. So if you want the latest information on Ash Taylor country music, you can always go to ashtaylor.com to find all of that. So Carol says, the problem, Chris, is LMNT and Relight target people on sugar-free and low-carb lifestyles. LMNT has doubled down on false advertising. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way. And, I'm not there behind the scenes, so I can't say what their intentions are or are not with that. But I know a lot of people feel this way, where it's like they think that, the sugar-free, low-carb lifestyle people are kind of their target market. And then there's something in there that people on low carb and sugar-free lifestyles wouldn't want. And so it's a whole mix up. And that's why, I can't say one thing or the other. I have nothing against LMNT. I don't know any of the people over there. I just know that I didn't feel great when I drank it, and the stevia gave Ash a headache. Not saying that that's the case for anyone else. That's just our experience. And then when SaltT came out, when Keto Chow came out with that and sent it to me, and I tried it, we loved it, and we felt so great. So that's why we love SaltT. There's no maltodextrin. It doesn't make us feel bad. The higher quality stevia in the flavored versions, Ash does not get a headache from. It's just a fantastic product. We love SaltT. So DJ Magic Man says, doing good. Just hoping eventually my insomnia will go away again. When I first went carnivore, I had no problems falling asleep and staying asleep. You know what? This is a really interesting thing you might try. Ash used to have a hard time falling asleep at night. And to some extent, I used to. I don't since I went carnivore anymore, but there were times that I did. And if you eat butter, like 30 minutes before you go to bed, that seems to help a lot of people, especially if you can get good grass-fed butter. Ash started eating butter 30 or so minutes before she went to bed, and it started helping her sleep a lot better. And it does the same thing for me. Something about the fat helps you kind of settle everything out, and it helps your body kind of kick into gear and start winding down. So might be something to try. I don't know if it would work for you or not. I'm certainly not a doctor and can't give you any medical advice here, but that's something that worked for me. So it might be something interesting. And Risa's Cluttered Kitchen is here. Good morning to you. Said she just watched Cindy's latest video and gave it a thumbs up. That is awesome. Rockin' Keto Amy says, I also need to know how to spatchcock a turkey. I'm just scared to do it. Well, Amy, that is a very easy one. I can tell you that right now what you do. All you need to do is set the turkey on its breast, okay? And I think it's easiest to come in the cavity from the bottom of the bird. You need a really strong pair of kitchen shears. So on Amazon or your local, store where you can buy kitchen gear, whatever, a really good pair of kitchen shears. They're strong. And all you're going to do is go inside the cavity, find the backbone that runs down the turkey, you go on one side, and you cut all the way up through those rib bones on one side of the backbone, turn the turkey 180 degrees, and cut down the other side of that backbone. Take the backbone out, right? It'll just come out. So you just trim that free and, just stay like next to the backbone. You don't want to go like all the way over into the side of the bird where you're cutting into the meat. So you just stay kind of right there where the spine starts to turn into the ribs on the sides, just on those thin bones. Cut down both sides. You peel the backbone out. That goes into your container for broth or, whatever it is you're going to do there. And then you turn the bird over so that the open cavity is now facing downwards. You kind of pull the sides out to lay it flat on a good sturdy cutting board. And you take your palms, put it right on the breastbone here, and you take your whole weight and you push it down flat, and you'll hear it crack that breastbone. And that's it. That's all you got to do to spatchcock. You can kind of press and you can sort of break some of the ribs and stuff and kind of get it to lay flatter. It's all you got to do. It's the only steps to it. It's super easy, and it will make it much easier to work with something that has a cavity in it like that. So you can totally do it. No need to be scared. The hardest part is just getting cut through those rib bones if you don't have a really good set of shears. Even if you do have good kitchen shears, it takes some pretty good forearm strength to get those bones to break sometimes. That's it. That's all you got to do. Super straightforward. And if you have trouble, you can send me a message, let me know, and we can help you out. So, and Cindy says, Shirley helps watch hours. Yes, watch hours are so important. And when you guys go and set a playlist and just let it play, it gets us watch hours and it helps our algorithm. It does all these things. It's a great, free, easy way to support creators. So, Risa says, Chris, I got into the chat at the very end of your live last night. I have to go watch the rest of the replay because I missed so much. Well, thank you, Risa. I'm glad you're able to tune in for the end of it at least, and would love to know what you think when you watch the replay. So thank you. Barry Weems is here, says, good morning. Good morning, my brother. We hope you were doing well. I know things have been a little down lately, but I hope things are good for you now. And Juju says, we figured that out when I was getting my Garden Buddies channel monetized. Yes, it makes a big difference, especially when you're trying to monetize and you're trying to get things to grow and do different things. So Chris says, device volume down to 0 would work. Clicking the mute button inside YouTube might be problematic. Yeah, that's possible. I don't know how they track that or what exactly it is they do with all of that, but that is a good thought. You guys might want to mute your speakers instead of muting the actual video itself. So I'm not sure. Very cool. Alan's Awesome Keto World says, our Thanksgiving tradition now is ribeye steaks and lobsters. That sounds fantastic. Yeah, I love, ribeye steaks and lobsters and stuff. But if you do turkey right, I love turkey when it's done right. Now, most places, the turkey is not done right. It's dry, it's flavorless, it's not good. And that's why I'm going to show you guys how I do turkey, because you can ask Ash sometime. She did not like turkey, and she thought it was just kind of a tradition but flavorless kind of meat. And then the first year that I cooked Thanksgiving dinner for us and I made turkey, she took one bite and she looked at me and she was like, oh my gosh, I've never had turkey like this. And I was like, right. If you do it right, it's amazing. Reese's Cluttered Kitchen says, Chris, I'm smoking my 7-pound bone-in turkey on my Ninja wood fire grill. I will heat it on Thanksgiving Day after work until 3 with my sides. Yum. Great idea. Love that. Smoked turkey is a great way to do it. And Janelle dropped in the debone the chicken roadkill chicken recipe. Absolutely. I did it there, and I'm going to be doing it again with my turkey recipe. So all good there. I agree with Chris here. He says, Alan, that sounds like an amazing Thanksgiving dinner. I totally agree with that. Carol says she loves making bone broth. Chris, treble or trouble? I can do either. I can do either as well, but usually trouble is what we tend to cause around here, although some treble can be nice too. Let's see. Alan was not a big fan of LMNT either. Yeah, I know there's some people that love it and there's some people that don't. It's different strokes for different folks is what it comes out to, I think, Rockin' Keto Amy's drinking her coffee with chocolate salty right now. That's a fantastic combination. And if you guys didn't know, I have a video where I used the chocolate salty to make a keto yoo-hoo and then a keto mudslide mocktail. So good. Loved it. Patricia says, caught the video of Dr. Barry talking to the LMNT founder, and the whole issue seems to be in the production people making a decision the founder was not aware of. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's somewhere along the way, someone made a bad decision, and I think it just turned into a really great big argument. And I have really no dog in the fight. I don't care, whose fault it was per se, other than, if it was an intentional thing, then that's something you would like to know about whoever made that decision. But at the end of the day, I'm just like, I don't drink it. I don't benefit from them doing well or them being harmed either way. Like I have no dog in the fight. I just love my salty from Keto Chow and just kind of do my thing. I did a video on it just because it was like, okay, well, here's the issue I'm seeing and what I think a lot of people are missing, because it became all about the maltodextrin and the amount. And it's like, any is horrible, or it's not that much. And what's wrong with you that you think it's a problem? And there was just two different camps that people were arguing. And I just don't think there's any need to argue like that. It's, at the end of the day, it's about the trust and transparency for me. And I'm just interested to see what they're going to do, if they're going to do anything to change or to try to make that something that people feel more comfortable with. So, time will tell. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't impact my life whether they do things one way or the other, because I don't drink it. I drink salty, and that's what makes me happy. So if you like LMNT, great. And if you're comfortable with what they do as a company, awesome. I hope you enjoy it. And I hope it makes you feel powerful and capable in your keto or carnivore journey. So Cindy says, I love LMNT, Relight, and Salty in the house too. Too expensive to get rid of, so we'll use all in moderation. And that, I think that's probably a lot of wisdom. Reese's Cluttered Kitchen says, you see the video Dr. Barry did with Rob from Element and Ignore What's very interesting. Yes, they were not open with everything and trying to fix the issue. Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. So excuse me. John says electrolytes before bed help with RLS and leg cramps too. Yeah, I've actually got a friend. It's a good point, John. I've got a friend who is struggling with kind of like the restless leg thing and cramps and all that kind of stuff. And I gave him some salty, and I'm hoping that maybe that'll help a little bit. So Stephen Stone wants to know, Chris, what can I use as a binder in lieu of flour or cornstarch? Well, Stephen, that kind of depends on the recipe and what the goal is. So unfortunately, in the carnivore or keto world, binders don't work the same as what they do in the sort of standard American diet world of like flour and cornstarch. So if you're making a gravy, it's a completely different answer than if you're trying to make like a bread-like product or like my stuffing or different things. So it kind of depends on what you're doing. So if you can give me a little more detail about what specific kind of recipe you might be looking to use a binder in, I might be able to give you a little bit more direction. So, but usually it's things like egg white powder, gelatin, depending on the type of thing you're trying to do. You can use pork rinds, like the crumbs, for certain things as a binder. There's certain places I use ricotta cheese. I mean, there's all kinds of different things I use for different reasons. So it kind of depends on what exactly you're trying to do. Chris says he bought some poultry shears from Amazon for cutting up the turkey this year. Yep, I've got a nice pair that hangs on my wall in my kitchen on my magnet board, and that's what I use it for when I need to cut through bones. John says caramel and cocoa salty are great hot. Yeah, I bet they are. I haven't tried that, but I'm definitely going to have to. Let's see. Lynn says, yes, I fixed the salty chocolate flavor hot, and I feel like I'm drinking hot chocolate with zero guilt. Isn't that cool? Gotta love that. And there's Janelle dropping in the recipe for the carnivore gravy thickened with egg yolks. Thank you very much, Janelle. Jackie says, if you don't want to gnaw on a stick of butter before bed, she does 2 tablespoons butter, 1 tablespoon of MCT, and 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder in hot water with salty-esque electrolytes and stevia for a treat and sleep aid. That's a great idea. great idea. Those fats a little bit before, right before bed are very, very helpful. And there's the keto yoo-hoo recipe as well. Thank you very much, Janelle. And let's see. Risa says, at night I have hot chai tea with caramel vibes salty. It is unbelievable. I bet it is. Lynette says, we cooked a turkey yesterday. We used 2 sous vides to cook the dark and light meat at different temps. It always turns out perfect. I have done the exact same thing, and I know exactly what you're talking about. That is amazing. The dark meat you can do a lot of different things with. You can do, like a sous vide kind of thing like she's talking about. You can roast it. You can put it in the oven and do things. You can do a confit, like a turkey confit. You can do all different kinds of things with it, and it works amazingly well. It's very forgiving. The breast you got to be real careful with, which is why sous vide is so perfect for breast meat. If you have that option, because you can keep it exactly where you want it and not get it dry. That's a really cool way to do it. So that's a wonderful idea. I might have to mention in my video a way people could do that as well if they want. John says, boneless turkey. My mother-in-law does that, and she's it all back together to make an easy-to-cut Franken turkey. Yeah, very, very cool. Yeah, so mine, I'm deboning it, leaving it as one whole piece. So it's still whole. It just has no bones in it anywhere, and then I'm going to show you guys what I do with it after that to do something real special. Carol says they're smoking a turkey this year. I've done it before. It was so good. Yeah, that's really, really tasty. Alan says, that sounds interesting, Lynette. Never thought of cooking a turkey like that. Yeah, I've done that a couple of times for us in the past, and it is really good. You will not be disappointed if you try that. If you get the temperature right, if you can do it 2 different temperatures and do the dark meat at one temperature and the white meat at another, you can get some really amazing results. Rockin' Keto Amy's funny. I have a good pair of kitchen shears I found on the garage floor once. This caused a marital fight. I explained, this touches your food. Yes, please keep your shears clean, folks, for sure. Ash knows there's a certain pair of scissors that is mine, and then she can have all the others in the house. But there's a certain pair that is mine that is for food only. So Carol says we're trying SaltT for the first time today at the gym. That's awesome, Carol. Let us know how you like them. Reese's Cluttered Kitchen says, I have a good pair of shears that I got in a knife set at Costco years ago. It works really well. That's great. Don't you love that when you get a set like that and something in it, like the shears or something, turns out to just be really good, and then you have it for years? I love that. It's like a little surprise. Jolene says, slowly go up to a tablespoon of MCT oil. Start out with 1 teaspoon first. Yeah, I've heard people have explosive results by going too far with the MCT oil too fast. So John says, yes, a chunk of butter has been my midnight snack for months. I try to avoid protein after 10. So if I want a snack, butter is it, and I sleep well after that. That's great. Great idea. Lynn says, I'm one of those people who enjoys eating sticks of butter. I kind of crave it. I like I used to crave all the carbs. So I should be sleeping very well. Yes. Well, and Dr. Bright talks about for women, butter is very, very good hormonally because women's bodies work very different than men at any stage of their life. Different stages are different for them hormonally, but regardless, there are all of these different stages of a woman's life where butter is very helpful for hormones. So no matter what age you are, that seems to be a thing that women just benefit from. I know it made a big difference for Ash when she started eating butter. John says, I cook my turkey in an oven cooking bag. It is juicy and easy cleanup. Well, there you go. Mindy says, I smoked a chuck roast yesterday. It was delicious. Couldn't believe it was a chuck roast I was eating. We'll try your gravy recipe to put on it next time. Yeah, there you go. That would be amazing. Well, guys, I'm going to talk with you for a few minutes here. We've caught up on comments. I'm going to talk with you for a few minutes about the subject matter for today. And I'm going to put a picture up on the screen for you. This is a before and after picture of me on the left-hand side. That's probably the biggest that I was. That's probably the biggest that I ever was. right around somewhere in that time frame. And I was probably more than the 385 pounds that I know for sure I was. I was probably 400 pounds there. I could not walk very well. I was struggling. You can see the shoes that I'm wearing a little bit there. Like, they kind of look puffy. That's because they were like a dress shoe style thing that I used to wear when I would play shows. And this was outside of a venue here in Nashville. And we had just, I think we had just finished playing a show, or we were just getting ready to play a show. I can't remember. I used to be in a duo with another guy in town, and we were playing. And I would wear those shoes. You can see they're puffy because my feet had so much swelling and so much, honestly, just extra fat, that even though the shoes were the right size, I had to like squish my foot in there, and all of the weight had stretched them and just all of this stuff. I don't even own that pair of pants anymore, I don't believe, but it would have been probably 46 or a 48 or something like that. It was probably like a 46 or 48 waist in those pants. And you can see like the size. It's kind of hard to see with the color of the wall and the dark jeans, but the calf muscle, like my legs were so swollen and so overweight. Just unbelievable. And then on the right, this was a few months back, and that jacket that I am wearing there, I had gotten to a point I couldn't even stretch that over my shoulders. So the picture of me on the left, where I'm wearing the black t-shirt, if I tried to put that jacket on from the picture on the right, I couldn't get my arms to go through the armholes. And even if I had squeezed through the armholes, which you can see on the picture on the right, there is extra space inside the arms, like it's not tight on my arms. If I had tried to squeeze my arms in there, those arms would be super tight around my, the jacket would be super tight around my arms. My shoulders, I wouldn't even be able to get in there because I was so overweight that my back was stretching that jacket to a point I couldn't get the shoulders to come around my shoulders anymore. And there was zero hope of ever getting it close to being buttoned. And where I'm wearing it with the red pants on the right side there, I actually am capable of buttoning that jacket. I have two of those jackets. That one's black. I have another one that's brown. And I used to wear those when I was working in higher education. Back in the day when I was significantly thinner, I had gotten those. And I saved those jackets. Even though I couldn't wear them anymore, I kept them because my goal was one day I want to be able to wear these again. I want to get in shape and I want to be able to wear these again. And now you can see that I actually can. And I've also noticed, if you look at my hands in both of these pictures, you can kind of see my fingers, especially my left hand where I'm wearing the black bracelet on this picture where I'm super overweight. You can kind of see my fingers look puffy and like bulbousy. And then if you look at my left hand hanging down with my wedding ring on it in the picture where I'm wearing the red pants, you can see that my fingers are not puffy like that anymore. And it's, it's things like that. Or you can see like my cheeks, like I actually have a jawline now. And, I still have extra weight to lose. I'm not in any way denying that. But you can see there is such a huge difference. Now, the reason I'm showing you this picture is, one, I want to inspire you to think that keto and carnivore can make amazing changes in your life. And I want to just keep you focused on positivity and focused on the fact that you have a future. As Dr. Barry would say, if you can fog a mirror, you have a future and you can change. It is not too late. So that is one thing I want to do. But more importantly, I want you to look at this picture and I want you to think, is this a situation where when you would look at this before and after picture, that your first response would be to tell me that I need to cut out the dairy because that's going to help me finally make more improvements in my health? And the reason I'm asking you that question is because I posted this picture telling people about one of my live streams. I think it was, I don't know. I posted this on social media, on YouTube, on Facebook, on all these different things. I posted this and was announcing to people that we were going to be going live, I think later that night or something, the next day, something like that. I can't remember now exactly. And I got a comment on this that basically was like, you need to cut out the dairy because you're basically a dairytarian at this point, and cutting out the dairy would make this huge difference in your life, and you'd be able to finally lose the extra weight and all this kind of stuff. And I really had a hard time understanding why this comment even came up, because I look at this picture and I feel inspired to keep working, because I look at like how far I have come, and I go, this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. And I'm doing this little by little by little, and I'm getting healthier. And I look at this and I go, look at the change in who I am. I'm not the same person anymore. I'm a completely different person than I used to be. I have a completely different zest for life. I have energy. I run multiple businesses along with Ash. Like, we do such an amazing set of things now that I would have never dreamed of being able to do when I was that person on the left. That person on the left wearing that black t-shirt and that cross necklace was so miserable and so in pain and just addicted to carbs and all this kind of stuff. And that smile on my face was totally forced because I was so miserable all the time. And I mean, it's like, this, you have to remember too, this is the person that Ash met for the first time. Can you imagine Ash meeting this guy and thinking, oh yeah, I want to date him. I want to marry him someday. I mean, it's amazing to me that I ever convinced her to even talk to me a first time, let alone a second time. And, we'll tell you guys a little bit more about the story of how we met and all of that at some point. But I look at this and I have a hard time understanding why she would have ever even given me half of a second of thought. So this is a person that I don't ever want to be again. On the right-hand side with the red pants, like, yeah, I still have extra weight to lose, but I mean, this is a dude who is happy, who is inspired that he can do amazing things, who runs a YouTube channel, who is a professional musician, who goes on tour, who does all these different things. Like, I do so many things that I would never have been able to do in the past. And I feel so proud of the distance that I have covered. And I know I have more to go, absolutely. But look at the amazing things that I have done to change my life so far. So when I got this comment that it's like, you need to get rid of the dairy because you're a dairytarian. So there's a couple of things that I want to unpack with this for you guys. First of all, if we're giving advice to people about what they should do, that would indicate that we think we know what they're doing on a daily basis as it is, which you never know what someone is really doing just based on what they show you in the little tiny bit that you see. And so when this person made this comment, I'm like, well, first of all, outside of my recipes, I'm not, like, when I'm doing the videos for you guys, yeah, you're seeing me eat recipes. And we have those things for dinner. When I'm not doing that, like, I'm not cooking recipes every single day. And the arrogance to think that you know what someone's diet is because once a week they put out a recipe video is mind-boggling to me. So that was one problem that I had. And I thought, we need to discuss the fact that you don't know what someone is doing behind the scenes, and you should never suppose that you are aware of what someone's life is like, because that's just a completely toxic level of arrogance that I can't describe. So there's that. More importantly, though, when you look at something like this, and the first thing you do is think about what that person is doing wrong, there is a lot messed up in your own mind when that's the way you think that you should respond to something like this. And I'm telling you guys about this because I know I am not the only one this has happened to. And this happens fairly regularly for me, and that's fine, because at this point I look at pictures like this and I'm like, anybody can say anything they want. I know what I'm doing that's making a difference in my life, and I'm proud of the work that I've done, and that's why I share what I do and try to inspire other people. But there are a lot of people out there who are more, they're more unstable in their own self-image than that. I used to be one of them. That dude on the left-hand side with the black t-shirt there, if you would have said something criticizing anything I was doing, it would have just driven me further into a downward dark spiral that I was already on. And, this is why with addiction, you don't tell an addict that they're worthless and they're stupid. And you can't do that to an addict and expect that to ever change anything about them. And anyone who tries that knows nothing about addiction recovery and quite honestly doesn't know anything about human kindness either. It's not an excuse to just keep doing what you want by any means. But you cannot tell people that what they're doing is all of these ways that it's terrible and, in this super critical way and expect that to inspire them to somehow change. It doesn't work that way. I know there are a lot of people out there who are going to get this kind of reaction and this kind of just criticism from the people around them. And so I'm showing you this because, one, you're not alone. Okay, I get this all of the time. It doesn't matter how much weight you lose. It doesn't matter how well you do. There are people that are just going to criticize what you do. The importance of that is not letting that knock you off of your path and figuring out how you're going to stay on track, even in the face of criticism. We're going to talk about that in a second. So you need to know that. The other thing is you have to remember that when people are criticizing you, they're criticizing you comparing what you are to what they think you should be. They're not looking at the journey. They're not seeing you holistically from the beginning to where you are and then the goals you have of where you want to end up. They're seeing a moment in time and comparing that to perfection. Because this is what people who criticize you do. They look at where you are and they look at a way to say, well, here's this and here's perfection and you're not that. Therefore, my ego is going to tell me, I know what's wrong with you and I'm going to tell you how to fix this and turn into this. And I'm here to tell you that, one, you are worth so much more than that for people to treat you that way. And I'm sorry if these things happen to you. They happen to me too. I get it. It sucks when people act that way because it either hurts you, it drives you downwards, it makes you feel worthless, it makes you angry, some something you feel. I also want to tell you it's okay to feel that way because you're a human being. I'm a human being. When people say this to me, I get a little bit of a jump in my chest of an emotional reaction where I'm angry. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Look at what I have done. How is that the thing you're focused on? And why is that what you want to make my comment section about and whatever? And I have a little bit of an emotional reaction to it because I'm a human being. And then I step back and I go, I really need to remember, one, this person is probably struggling in things in their own life, which that's hard for me to remember, but I need to remember that. And then two, I don't have to live up to this person's expectations. I don't owe them anything. They have no right to expect that I should care what they think. So if I don't give them that power, they don't have that power. So I tell them to shut their pie hole and then I move on. And I do that. A lot of times I delete those comments, but every now and then I will respond and I'll leave it there because I can tell you this guy that had this black t-shirt and was so overweight and sick and struggling, if I would have seen that in a comment section and I didn't see a response to it, I would have questioned, well, should I even do this whole thing? I don't know if I can give up dairy if I go keto. I love cheese. I love cream. I love this. And I would have had 100 reasons why that person's comment told me, I shouldn't even try. And then there were times where, I was looking for someone to defend the fact that they were doing what they were doing because I may have questions myself. And if I only ever deleted those comments, there would be nothing there for someone to see, here's a person bringing this up in a real critical way, being a bully. And here's the person who's responding saying, no, you don't deserve to treat people that way. People are more valuable than that. And you are not right. So every now and then I leave some of those comments and I take the time to respond and tell those people exactly where they can stick it, because there are people out there that are struggling that want to know they're not alone, and they get angry and they get hurt and they feel like this is happening in their own life. I don't want them to come to my channel and think it never happens to me. I don't want them to come to my channel and see those comments and have there never be a response from me and then wonder if I even really believe what I'm saying, or am I just doing this to make money? Like, have this image of a YouTuber that you make all of this money and that you're just wealthy. I've had people say that, to me, where it's like, oh, it's so nice to see that when you're wealthy, people send you things when I do like a product review. And I'm like, I don't know where you've been living, but I'm far from wealthy. Like, I keep my bills paid by working really, really hard. And it's like, I scrape every dollar I have together and I buy budget food and, all this kind of stuff. It's like, I am not a wealthy person. So it's like, I'm not doing this for money. So if you see something on my channel and you think I'm making a whole bunch of money, I'm not responding to this person because I don't want to cause any waves, it gives such a wrong impression of what it is I'm doing, why I do it, and what I actually believe. And I know that because I was that guy. I was that person who was struggling, and that's what I thought because I didn't know any better. So I'm trying to be the change I want to see in the world for people. And I'm telling you that when you get criticism from other people, it will probably happen in your life, and that's okay. It's not okay that they're doing it, but it's okay for you that you're going to experience it because you're going to be all right. You're going to come out the other side. Remember this, and remember that when people criticize you, that is not because you doing keto or carnivore or any of these things isn't valuable. It's not because the success you've already had isn't somehow enough to be worth you having a good self-image and continuing in this process. It is because people like that are ignorant douchebags who do not understand. And you don't have to bear the burden of their opinion of you. That is what keeps you on track. When you start to recognize those comments for what they are and you go, I don't need to worry about this person. I don't need to care what they think. Look at people like Chris Cooking Nashville, or Dustin from Keto Simple, or Victor Southern Keto, or Dr. Barry and Nisha both have their own stories. Anita, ketogenic woman. I mean, I can go on and on and on. Cindy DeManch, and Rock and Keto Amy. I mean, like, I can go on and on and on and on and on with all these people that have these amazing stories of what they have done to completely change their life. That's not an accident. That's not because they're just some random minority who got lucky that this worked, and because people are criticizing you for what you're doing or what you're not doing or whatever, that somehow that makes you less valuable or less capable than all of those stories. You're the same as all of them, but you're completely different in the fact that you are a unique human being, and what works for you is going to take some experimentation and tweaking. That doesn't take away from the fact that you are going to have successes and you deserve to celebrate those successes. You lose 5 pounds, amazing, celebrate that. You didn't lose any weight, but did you gain any weight? If you didn't gain any weight, celebrate that. I gained 5 pounds, but did your clothes fit better? If so, celebrate that. I gained 5 pounds, my clothes don't fit any different, maybe they're even tighter. Did you sleep better? Did you have some other medical thing? Like, what's going on in your life? Look for the successes and celebrate them. And when people criticize you for what you're not doing or what you should be doing or how something's not working or you don't measure up to something in their mind, who cares? Screw that. People like that are comparing you to some idyllic thing of perfection because their ego needs to feel like they're smarter and better than you. And you know what? Not only are they not smarter and better than you, they're actually dumber and not worth as much as you because they're choosing to treat you that way. Their value as a human being is not based on them somehow being smarter than you or any of these kinds of things. It's how they treat people and the kind of person they are in the world. And if they want to be better than you by tearing you down, that's their own choice, making them worth less. And that's a real sad thing. And when I start to understand people that criticize what I'm doing and tell me I'm a dairytarian because they think that all I do is eat dairy all day long because my recipes include dairy, I sit there and I go, you You're choosing to be a worthless person. Not because your inherent value is less than mine, but because you choose to do this to people. And when you start to understand that is what is impacting that person's value, you realize very quickly, yeah, I might have a little emotional reaction where I'm angry or I'm hurt or I'm something in the moment, but then suddenly I step back from it. I look logically at what's going on and I realize that person is choosing to devalue themselves by treating people that way. And that's completely pointless. It's idiotic. There's no reason to do that, but people are going to do that, and you don't deserve to be sucked into it. This guy on the screen on the left-hand side didn't deserve to be sucked into it, but he didn't have the mental clarity to understand that's what was happening when he would be called fat, or he would be called creepy, or he would be called greasy, or he would be called any of these other things. The guy on the right-hand side with the red pants has the mental clarity to understand that that's why this stuff is what it is and to not care. And that's what's important to me. So staying on track when others criticize you is based on your own understanding of the fact that people that choose to treat you that way, not only are they not better than you, there's literally no one that could be beneath them, and that's by their own choice because they're choosing to be that kind of person. That's why our community is so great. That's why Dustin and Victor and I are doing Keto Crusade. That's why I do these Monday morning motivations. That's why my recipes exist. My health vlogs are out there. That is why all of this stuff exists, because no one could possibly be beneath somebody who chooses to tear other people down like that. And so I'm trying to be the exact antithesis of that. I want to be the total opposite of that and tell you how valuable you are and to give you as many resources and tools as I have access to be able to stabilize your own journey, to try to use as the N=1 experiment to see if you can do something special with it and see if you can step up to the next level, one step at a time, take it one day at a time, have your journey be more and more and more successful because you have support and you realize that you're not trying to measure yourself against perfection. Who you were yesterday and who you are today should be just a little bit different. Today should be just a little bit better than yesterday. And people who want to criticize that don't know enough about you to have any sort of authority in that. And even if people want to give you advice, that's fine. You can give people advice in an inspirational way. You can support them in their journey. You can do all kinds of stuff. But to just criticize how someone's not doing it right because you think that somehow is important for them to know is purely about your own ego. It's about, I'm so important, this person needs to know what I think. And that's what that decision is. And that's why we don't interact with people like that other than to tell them to shut up. And that's why I don't allow people like that to go in my comment section and beat people up or beat me up for that matter. And I either delete it or if it seems appropriate, I leave it and I put them in their place. Call me the defender of the underdog or call me the person who is here to represent the people who are questioning, people who are downtrodden, the weak, the innocent, the weary, the tired masses, that, whatever. Call me whatever it is, but that's why I'm here and that's what I do, because I really needed that and I couldn't find it. And I'm blessed that I got out of it before I ended up being suicidal or, I was headed that direction. I was depressed. I was anxious. I was just apathetic to life. I just didn't care about things. I was in so much pain. I just couldn't see a way out of that. I'm so glad that I was able to get out of that mindset. And quite honestly, Ash was one of the big reasons that I was able to, because she supported me and encouraged me and loved me when I couldn't do it for myself. And she is very much the reason I think I'm even here today. So That and the inspiration I found through watching Dr. Barry's videos and Nisha's videos, I always talk about. I love the two of them so much because without them, I don't even know if I would be alive. And, I don't know how many times they ever hear about, when I shout them out in videos, but I do it regularly because without the two of them, I don't even know if I would be here anymore. So, those are the kinds of things you need to search for in your life. That's the kind of inspiration you need to look for. Those are the kinds of people whose authority on what they think, the advice they give matters, because when they're giving it to you in a way of, I care about you, I want to see you succeed, here's some advice, and here's a way that I can deliver it in a honest but loving and encouraging way. That's the kind of person that you listen to. And knowing the difference between those two is what helps you stay on track. So, so that's kind of my rant. Let's see what's going on in the comments, because I've seen it in the corner of my eye going nuts over here. Let's see. Maritza says, looking awesome. Thank you, Maritza. I feel like a completely different human being. And when I look at the before and after pictures, I have a hard time understanding even who I was. So I appreciate that. Rockin' Keto Amy, no, I refuse to cut out the dairy. Tell those people to shut their pie holes. I know that cutting out dairy might make me feel better, but I love cheese. Well, and that's the thing. Like, if it gets to a point where, I really feel like that's the next step for me and I need to do that, I will totally do that. But to do it because somebody else says I should do it, well, that would just be silly. I mean, if they said, hey, have you thought about cutting out dairy to maybe cause this thing to happen? Okay, cool. And then maybe dairy would become more of a treat, whatever. That's totally fine. But you need to do this. You are this. It's that attitude. It's like, it's not even about the dairy. It's about the way you're treating people when it's like, you don't know what I'm doing. And I told this person they don't know what I'm doing. And then they were like, well, I never said I know what you're eating. It's like, well, you're calling me a dairytarian and you're saying that this is what I need to do to change my life. Apparently you do think you know what I eat on a daily basis. And it was just a whole thing. And I just ended up deleting it because it just started to devolve very quickly. People like that don't like when you call them out. And then it goes from, this is important for other people to see, to this is just getting out of hand, and this person has shown that they're truly not right in the head. So I took that down. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm not cutting out dairy right now. I am limiting it because I think that'll make me feel a little better. But I'm not cutting it out unless I get to a point where I say that's the next step. And that's a decision I'll make when I feel like it's the right decision to make. And I won't make that decision because somebody else guilts me into doing it. John says, well, dang, that's a huge difference. If this is a commercial, I'd have a hard time believing it's the same person. Yeah, it's I get that comment a lot. People look at old pictures and they're like, that's not even you. And I'm like, no, that is. No, it's not the same person. Like, yep, that's me. That is me. Amy says, you're doing amazing, Chris. Thank you, Amy. So are you. Alan says, everyone has their opinion, but you need to decide what works for you. If it's working, don't change it. I agree. You can always try to step up to the next level, but if you're getting results, don't kill yourself to try to change something. Like, there's no need. If you're getting results and you're feeling good and you're doing great, like, patience, vitamin P. Dr. Barry talks about that. Vitamin P, patience, do the right things, patience. And if it's not working, then take the next step. And that's one step at a time, improving as you go and feeling better. Janelle makes a good point. Doing what's sustainable for you is what's important. Absolutely. And Lynn says, there's absolutely nothing in that photo comparison that has even the smallest negative thought in my head. It's all so inspiring. You look great and you're so much healthier. Every bit positive. Well, thank you, Lynn. I appreciate that. John says, what do you mean too much cheese? That's not possible. I love my cheese. I have to be careful because I can eat way too much of it, but I love my cheese. Cindy says, when criticism shows its ugly head, you have to consider the source and move on, figuring these negative people are miserable folks. Don't let them make you miserable. Amen. Absolutely agree. Amy says, I've lowered my intake of dairy, but still afford myself cheese as a treat. People should not lecture other people. Cheese accidentally falls into my mouth. Love that. And Maritza says, my daughter found out that dairy was hurting her, and now she has to eat dairy-free and vegan cheese, and this is so expensive. Yeah, and see, that's the thing. Now, so someone like this, where dairy is really causing you a problem, like it's not just that you're not losing weight as fast, or it's a little easy to eat too much from time to time. Like it's not like that. Like dairy is harming you. That's a reason to say, hey, I need to cut this out. And that's terrible that it's like, the dairy-free and vegan cheese is so expensive, and I hate that for her. I'm so sorry, but but that is a reason that it's like, hey, you should give up dairy because it's harming you. Not just, oh, well, in my opinion, you're not losing weight fast enough, therefore you should cut out the cheese, and I don't like the dairy in your recipes because you're a dairytarian. That's a completely different conversation. So it's a really good point, Maritza. Dark Ruby says, do what works for you and forget the naysayers. You look healthy and happy. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And that's what I try to do. And that's what we try to do. And that's what I want everyone here to be able to do too. Like, do the experimentation, figure out what works for you, what makes you feel good, and go with that. John says, I have to cut back on the dairy, but I'll probably never permanently eliminate it. Yeah. And I think, I think it's totally appropriate, even if you cut back on it. Occasionally is a special thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And that's the thing. I mean, I don't eat dairy, like massive amounts of dairy every day. People think that I do because I make recipes with dairy, apparently, but I don't have that on a daily basis. So let's see. John says, cheese just mysteriously vanishes in my house. Yeah, mine too. Funny how that happens. Cindy says, to me, naysayers are just miserable people who want company in their negative thoughts. Yes, I totally agree. And Charlie says, excellent transformation, Chris. Not just the physical aspects, but the mental ones. And that is the thing. If I never lost another pound in my life, the mental health changes are worth me continuing to do this exactly the way I'm doing it, even if I never lost another pound. Janelle says, we are all works in progress. Even if I never reach my dream weight, I'm still a lot healthier than I was. Absolutely. And the scale is just a terrible, terrible thing. Rockin' Keto Amy, do you think addicts are ever recovered, even food addicts? I don't feel recovered even after 6 years. I still act like the fat girl and my friends don't understand. I think addiction is something, as much as we think we understand, I don't even know if we fully understand. Addiction, especially food addiction, is such a weird thing to have to deal with. Ash's mom works in addiction recovery. I think understanding what the reason is for your addiction, what the source of your addiction is, gives you the power to do something about it. So for me, for example, my food addiction, there is a carbohydrate element to my food addiction. When I crank in the carbs and I'm just carb like I used to do, I get a high off of that for sure. But truthfully, something that really matters more to me is the social, cultural, psychological aspects of food because of my family, the way I was raised, the fact that I love to cook. I cook for people as a way of saying I love you. I like the creativity in the kitchen, in case you guys can't tell. That for me is a completely separate issue. And so when I realized that I could have that side of things and not have to have all of the carbs with it, I really got into doing that, which is what has led to my YouTube channel. And now, even when I cook standard American diet food for other people, because I still do that for people in my family, because it's not my prerogative to force my dietary beliefs on other people, I've realized there are a few foods out there that are a absolutely no, not never thing for me, right? Soda, slushies, liquid sugar that I drink. That's not a good idea. Drinking milk, like having milk on cereal or drinking a glass of milk, like that much lactose, that's not a good idea for me. Heavy cream or no liquid dairy is kind of my approach now. Those are a no, never do it again thing. There are some things, desserts, carby things, bread, pasta, potatoes, those kinds of things. That's an almost never thing. That's like it's my birthday, it's a special occasion, whatever. I may have a little of something like that, but I'm very, very cautious about that. And I also have noticed if I have something like that now, because I still get to have fun cooking and doing all this other stuff, I don't end up craving anything anymore because I'm still satisfying the psychological, social, cultural things about food for me personally. I don't crave those carbs anymore. So, and when I have those special things like that, I end up not really thinking they taste as good as I thought they were. And I don't feel very good the next day. And I'm like, yeah, that's really not worth it. And so I just do less and less and less of it all the time. If I have something like, say, dessert or something, which is very rare, but if I do anymore, if for some reason, and this has only happened a couple of times, but if for some reason I start craving sweets, I now have a toolkit. And this is what I do. I eat as much ground beef patties and eggs as I can stuff inside myself, lots of butter, or I eat steak or whatever. It's basically beef and eggs of some format, and I eat it in whatever is my favorite way to eat it. And I eat as much as I can possibly eat and just be like, oh, I'm so full, right? That's where I get myself to. Because then if I'm still craving sweet stuff and any of these other kinds of things, I know it's not hunger signals being crossed where I'm thinking about the sweet stuff, but I really was just hungry. Then I know it's a craving related to an addiction. And it's very easy for me personally to then put that in this little box and move it over here and go, that's an addiction-based craving. Now I know what it is. I've shined a light in that dark corner. You cannot hide. I know what you are. Stay over there and get out of my life. And it's much easier for me to just move that off to the side and not feel like I'm powerless to fight it. So that's what I do. Because of that, I can occasionally have a few bites of things that are standard American diet if I choose to for a special reason, and I don't have cravings anymore. And if I happen to, it's only happened a couple of times, I can immediately deal with it. And if I do have something that's not carnivore, especially even if I do like keto, even if it's dirty keto, or if I do standard American diet stuff, the very next day I go super strict carnivore, meat, salt, water, and coffee. And that's it. And it keeps it under control. It keeps it at bay. And I feel like I have control of my own life. So are you ever truly recovered? Maybe, maybe not. I don't really know. But I think more importantly, when you know what works for you, what tools you have to fight those things, you can make informed decisions. And if that means you can never have those things, then you never have those things. And if that means you can have those things because the addiction wasn't because of those specific foods, but it was because of a whole series of things, like I feel like it is for me, it's a lot easier for me to just say, not going to let that happen. Here's my tools for fighting it. I have the freedom to have this thing if I want, and then I go right back to this after. And that gives me freedom. And sometimes the freedom can be the thing you're seeking the most. It's not even the carbs, it's the freedom, which is why my recipes are so important for me. And I think mean something to other people too. John says he's caught up to live. There we go. Beverly says we need more kindness in the world. I totally agree with you. Janelle's giving everybody hearts. Thank you so much, Janelle. Juju says, Chris, I just posted my I'm not there yet, but I'm a whole lot closer than I used to be photos in my Facebook and tagged you. Well, thank you, Juju. I will go check that out. That is awesome. We got to meet Juju B at the show in Virginia, and you want to talk about a sweet lady and a wonderful man that she brought with her, her husband, just great, great people. So thank you so much, Juju, for all you do, and I can't wait to see your pictures and understand a little bit more about your I'm a whole lot closer than I used to be. Love it. Cindy says, when I get the not so nice comments on my videos, I decide to heart the comment and thank them for watching. Blanking them with kindness. Yes, absolutely. Dark Ruby says, everyone is a work in progress, and that's okay. I think losing weight also needs to come with a side of mental health work. Changing physically doesn't necessarily change old bad thought patterns. I totally agree with you. And that's where that psychological thing for me comes together of like, I had to deal not only with my carb issues, but also this thing of I love cooking for people. I love saying I love you by cooking for people. That's what I do. My creativity in the kitchen matters. So how do I do that and not lose control of what I'm doing? And that is why Chris Cooking Nashville exists. And which is why when people are like, just get over your recipes, this is stupid, just eat steak and get over it. And I'm like, you you're too ignorant to even have a clue what you're talking about. So whatever happened to the golden rule? I was raised with it drilled into me for a good reason. Yeah. It's unfortunately not something people online want to do. I think we've gotten this idea we can hide behind a keyboard and just say whatever we want with no consequences, which truthfully is one of the reasons I intentionally go back at people, because I'm like, if no one else is going to point out your ignorance and your stupidity, I'll do it. Because, how many people do we have to see just fall apart because of online bullying and people thinking they can do whatever they want before someone finally stands up and says enough is enough? So, I'm not trying to be rude to people, but I also don't think that you should ever just be allowed to speak and act however you want to people like that and not have anyone point it out. Just my belief. Carol says, my husband and I hang out at the beach every Saturday with non-keto friends, and it's a struggle. The one friend is one of those people who shows she cares by bringing homemade baked goods. Yeah, I understand. It's something you have to learn how to navigate that landscape, and it can be tough. John says, I live the rich-poor life too, living on sales, discounts, and wholesale purchases, saving money anywhere possible, and living better than I should be with my below-average income. Right there with you, man. Right there with you. Cindy says, Carol, at the bowling alley, there are always people bringing cupcakes, cakes, etc., and asking why I don't eat them. Then it's like, oh, I forgot you eat meat only. Yeah. Yeah, some people just don't understand. Sean says, dairy is carnivore. I totally agree. And it doesn't work for everybody. And depending on how much of it you have, it can really have, some detrimental effects, I'm sure. But I agree. Dairy is carnivore. And if it works for you, I think it's fine. Charlie Darth Carnivore says, I think sometimes us guys have an unrealistic beauty or health standard, both for ourselves and what we expect of others. I totally agree. I think, there's a lot of public talk about the expectation for how women should look. And that's absolutely a reality. And it's ridiculous the way we expect women to try to, make their bodies a certain shape and, all the things that we expect them as a society to do. I think a lot of it's ridiculous. It should be about what makes them feel beautiful and what makes them feel like they are themselves, and what makes the person that is attracted to them attracted. Like that's who should determine, what matters to them is themselves and their relationship that they care about fostering. But there's also one for guys that I don't think is talked nearly as much about. And, the idea of the six pack and the pecs, sort of the Greek god physique. That's cool. And I mean, I'd love to be shaped like that someday, but genetically, some guys are not shaped to be that shape very easily. We're just not made to be that shape without stupid amounts of effort. And quite honestly, to get to the level that some people now expect that to be, I mean, like bodybuilders, they do things that are bad for them. I mean, they go to unhealthy levels of things trying to be that. And I just don't think that it's smart to make that a standard. And it's like, if you can do it, good for you. But I don't think we should hold people to those kinds of standards, because it's just harming people. Alan says, you need to do what is sustainable for you, as you will have to do this the rest of your life, at least for me. I totally agree. Absolutely agree. And here's John, how he does it. Meat byproducts, some seasoning, and a few sugar-free sauces. That's pretty much what I do most of the time too. And if I want to lean a little bit, one direction or the other, a little more keto, I will totally do that. Holly says, unfortunately, a mod on one of Dr. Barry's lives a few weeks ago responded to my first comment on his channel, leaving me feeling hurt and reprimanded. Well, Holly, I'm sorry to hear that. Perhaps the way they said something was not what they intended. I've had very good experiences with the mods, so I'm not sure. I'm not really sure why that would have happened, but it just, I mean, I don't know what you had said or what your question was, but I know the Dr. Barry, I mean, I've met Dr. Barry, and I know that it is never his goal for people to feel hurt or reprimanded. It is, he is very direct, and he is very open and honest about, if this is not working, then this is what you need to do. And it's not in any way meant as a criticism from him. He is very clear and very not BSing anybody, because it's important to him, because of the fact there are so many people out there, influencers on YouTube and companies and political groups and corporations and big pharma and all, I mean, like, that will just BS you to try to tell you whatever you want to hear so that they can make money. And he won't tell you anything that's not the truth. Perhaps the way one of his moderators was then trying to say the same thing, maybe it didn't come across right. I'm not sure. Obviously, I don't know what was said, so I can't say. But I'm sorry that you felt that way about that, though. John says, when eggs hit 30 cents each, I start buying 5 dozen from Sam's at 20 cents each. Yeah. I live on a lot of eggs. Lots of eggs. Yeah, Low Carb Spin says, so sorry for that, Holly. Most of us just want support. I'm very surprised. Yeah, I think, and Holly is saying, makes it hard for me to watch him anymore. Yeah, Holly, I understand. I think, just remember, don't punish someone for something maybe somebody else did. Dr. Barry and Nisha are great people, and sometimes I think people, in an effort to try to push the right message, can sometimes come across in a bad way. So, like I said, I don't know what was said, but you are always welcome here, and we're happy that you're here. So, Rockin' Keto Amy says, can't wait until you make a video about how you and Ash met, a love story video. Yes, we've talked about that. We definitely have plans to do that for everybody. So, Low Carb Spin, I figured something out. I was just trying to share with others like me who no longer have our gallbladder. Yeah, sometimes, not in any way making an excuse for whatever it is they said at all. Sometimes when it comes to things like that, where it's a specific medical situation, I know that in the past there have been people who have said stuff like that, and they've given patently false advice. And I know the moderators on his channel have stepped in and tried to stop it, because it was getting like, okay, this is medical advice and this is becoming a dangerous thing. Maybe they just overreacted to something like that, or maybe they misunderstood. I don't know. But yeah, there's specifics like that can I don't know. It causes weird things online with people sometimes. So yeah, I would just say, just kind of try to consider the source as best you can, and just do the best you can to help people. It's all we can do. Maritza says, this is a great message to hear, and sometimes it hurts more when it comes from family. I totally agree. I totally agree. Yeah, Sherry says maybe you should reach out to Dr. Barry. He would definitely not want you to feel that way. Even if he was telling you something, from him specifically, even if he was telling you something that was hard to hear, he wouldn't want you ever to feel like he was criticizing you for saying that. It would be I'm telling you the truth about this because I care about you and I want you to be healed. I want you to have the knowledge that's important for yourself and whatever. I mean, he says this kinds of stuff to people. So if it was one of his moderators, I'm sure he would expect the same to come from them. So if you go to his website, I'm sure there's a contact form. You could maybe send an email and just be like, hey, just wanted to clarify something, and whatever. Just kind of, I'm sure you can have a conversation there and get some clarification on maybe what was meant or what their opinion or their view is. So Carol says, Cindy, I'm a retired nurse and goodies always brought in. The maple bacon donut has bacon on it. They get mad. Let's see. Sherry says, I'm not either. Maybe Chris Cooking Nashville can help. Yeah, I think the best thing you could do would be to go to his website and try to send an email. That would probably be the best thing you could do if you want to reach out and talk with them and whatever, I would say that's probably the best way to do that for sure. So I do know, again, I can't speak for the situation, but I do know that Dr. Barry and Nisha are wonderful people that want to help as many people as they can. So if something was said by someone that caused you to feel that way, it might be worth trying to reach out. And I mean, you have to realize too, Dr. Barry has over 3 million subscribers. I mean, so the number of emails and comments and everything that they get, I mean, you can't even begin to try to keep up with what goes on his channel. So if you don't hear anything or you don't have a response to something, like, you can't take that personally from someone like him. I mean, when you're one of 3 million people that have subscribed to his channel, getting him to even know that your comment is there is next to impossible. And it's not personal. How does one person or even a team of people keep up with that much going on? So, just something to always keep in mind, that someone who is reaching as many people as he does, like, there's no way to do this perfectly. I can't do this perfectly, and I don't have near the channel that he does. Steven says, Ash's comments on her experiences with dairy and her singing quality has changed my outlook on daily consumption. I've cut back, but I still love cheese. Yeah, it's really cool when you actually see, when you actually see what's going on, and you notice it. Like for us, with her going to the studio and she sings, or when she's getting ready to play a show or whatever, cutting back on the dairy and seeing an improvement in things. Like, you can actually see, like, it may not be causing big issues, but it definitely is something to consider when you're trying to do other stuff. So, Shirley says, wow, congratulations on your health journey, Chris. Well, thank you so much. John says 1 cup of heavy whipping cream in a recipe is not a lot of dairy. I agree. Although for some people, I'm sure that probably is too much, but it's not like this is the end of the world. So, Auntie Broken and Bruised is here. Hi, Shauna. She says, just got off work. Good morning. Well, good morning to you. We're glad that you are here. How are you feeling, Shauna? We would love to know if you're doing all right. She says, bit of a painful night, but it was in a specific spot, so better and not. Okay, well, moving forward. Cindy says, what, Chris Cooking Nashville, you like it in the kitchen? Couldn't tell. Yeah, imagine that. John says, I know drug addicts can only stay clean if they transfer their addiction, mostly becoming addicted to not being addicted. At least that's how it seems to me. Yeah, well, and Dr. Robert Saives, he's kind of known as the carb addiction doc. Here on YouTube, he does a bunch of stuff, and he talks about if you take an addiction out and you don't replace it with a better, healthier habit, you leave an empty spot, and then you feel like a piece of you is gone and empty. So for me, that was keto and carnivore recipe. So it's a journey. It's a step-by-step thing. And, there's a lot of things to consider when it comes to doing these things. Holly says, I accidentally figured out I do not tolerate any dairy, including butter. I was trying to share with others without a gallbladder to experiment with no dairy, including butter. Yeah, I mean, unless the way you said something like came across to a mod as you were trying to say something else, I don't know why that would be an issue. I know that even Dr. Barry says, like, try only butter. And then if that doesn't work, try ghee. And if that still doesn't work, because of the dairy, then go with just the animal fats. I mean, that's a recommendation that he makes to people. So unless the way you said something was like misunderstood by a mod or something, I don't necessarily know why they would have worried about that. So maybe it's something else that they didn't understand, or I'm not sure. Since I wasn't there, like I said, I can't really say, but I definitely know that saying, hey, if you don't have a gallbladder, try experimenting with not using butter. I don't see any reason why anybody would be upset about that if that's all it was. So Catherine says, keep doing blood work is the best advice I can give to keep up with what we need to add or subtract in our diet. Triglycerides HDL balance is crucial. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I would say consult the doctor. Unfortunately, you can't go cold turkey to end food addiction, so we transfer our addiction towards healthier foods like meat, eggs, and cheese. Totally agree. That's why my recipes are something that I use and helps me so much. So, Cranky Carnivore Cutler is here. Hello, my friend. Says, I suggest you look into kefir cheese at fermenting for foodies. I use raw milk, so it's more costly as well, but maybe a better bargain than vegan cheese. Yeah, that's an idea. I don't know enough about any of that kind of stuff to know, but it's an idea for sure. Liz Williams is here. Hi, everyone. I'm late as usual. Hi, Liz. We're really glad you're here. Catherine says, we need a list of doctors who are on the same bandwagon we are on. So actually, Dr. Barry has a video about how to find a keto or carnivore doctor in your area. And I believe there's a website out there that he lists. So you guys can go watch that and get some advice and info on how to do that. Liz says, I'm the same. I love to cook for myself and others. Yeah, I think a lot of people miss being able to do that when they first do keto or carnivore. So, you know, it's definitely a real thing. Shauna says those online bullies are most likely the saddest people alive. I agree. I totally agree. John says that's why carnivore keto works for food addiction when nothing else has. No limit on how much you can eat. I'll trade carbs for health and all the meat I can eat anytime. Absolutely. And you also, when you're eating carnivore especially, you get satiety so much faster that it's hard to overeat. I've tried. And I mean, I'm a binge eater and have no trouble eating way more than I should. And I cannot overeat on carnivore unless I'm including things that I know I shouldn't really be including. If I include way too much cheese, I can definitely overeat a little bit on cheese. If I include sauces or things like that, it makes it easier for me to overeat. But even then, I can't overeat nearly like the way I used to. So Patricia says that's where a good Southern bless your heart comes in handy with a sarky smile. Yeah, you're not wrong about that. You are not wrong about that. Juju's got to go. So she says, have a great day. Bye, Juju. We love you. Cindy says the snarky smile and eye rolling. Absolutely. John says expectations for women are insane, almost anorexic. I agree. I really agree. And, you know, there's one thing to be healthy. It's another thing to try to live up to some special expectation or, you know, something like that. So it's just crazy. Auntie says, I was happy to feel well enough to make myself some scrambled eggs this morning. Well, I'm glad to hear that. That's good. Holly says, thanks. I love Dr. Barry. I'm a Tennessee trained nurse and I love the Tennessee docs. Yeah. Like I said, Dr. Barry is great. I'm sure that whatever was said, however it came across, was not the intention, or if it was probably not something Dr. Barry himself would have agreed with if it came across in some bad way, because even if he's blunt and direct, it's always done out of love from him. That's one of the things I like about him so much. Mrs. Newton's Big Family Big Noise is here. Says, hey Chris, personally I find your videos very inspirational, even though the trouble you go through. Well, I appreciate that. And Cindy says she agrees that Ash and I are caring people with a great message. Well, Cindy, you're very sweet. Becky says, do you have special recipes for Thanksgiving carnivore? Yes. If you guys didn't know, I just put out on Saturday my stuffing recipe. And it looks like Cindy is dropping that into the chat here for you guys. Also, this coming Saturday, I'm doing turkey. And I 99.9% guarantee you've never seen anyone do anything like this with a turkey. So it's going to be fantastic. And if you think you don't like turkey, I think you would probably like this turkey. Janelle says, Chris has a lot of recipes. Check out the link above to see his recipe cards. Yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff. The mashed potatoes, the gravy, the stuffing. Now, I did do a stuffing last year, like a stuffing dressing. The one that I did this year, that's the newest one that's on that website there, that is by far better. I mean, the first one was good, but this one was incredible. So I think that would be best for you to check that out. And I have a couple of more coming, so keep watching the channel for sure. Dark Ruby is right. Nuance and context is lost through text sometimes. That's what I'm wondering, if maybe it was just either they didn't understand what you were saying, Holly, or maybe you mistook what they were saying. I'm not sure. So, but I think that just emailing Dr. Barry hopefully will clear that up. So, yeah, and you can do a super chat during a live stream. That's really more if you have like a short question. I don't, if there is something going on between you and a moderator and you want to be able to feel welcome in the community, I don't recommend doing that in the middle of a live stream. If there's dirty laundry there, I don't think that would be probably appreciated to have that aired out in front of, you know, several thousand people watching live and then hundreds of thousands of people later on. So I think it would be most respectful to just email them directly and have a private conversation with them to work that out. So Patricia says, where did Ash speak about Darian singing? She talks about it from time to time in live streams. We don't have a specific video she talked about it, but she's talked about it from various times. So and Cindy says she mentioned it on one of her Wednesday live streams, I believe. Yeah, I know she's probably talked about it in there, and she's probably talked about it here on Monday Morning Motivations too. Yeah, Risa makes a great point. This is why we're here in the chat, so we can help each other. We're all here to work together, and that includes, you know, Dr. Barry and Nisha and their whole crew, same kind of thing. Risa says, cooking is my thing, has been for years. People always ask me for ideas. Yeah, I'm the same way. John says, without a gallbladder, it took my wife a few months to adapt to high fat before the bathroom pyrotechnics ended. But she did adapt, just increase fat intake slowly. Now, after a year, she has no problems. Yeah, I think there's also things like ox bile or different things you can do. I don't understand the medical side of any of that very well, but I know there's some other things you can do to kind of ease that transition from what I understand. Catherine says, binge eater here too, foodaholic. Yep. That's why carnivore works so well for me, because it makes it just about impossible for me to overeat. Maritza says, don't forget to like and share. Yes, please, guys, like and share. That makes so much of a difference, and I appreciate it. Cindy says, Dr. Barry is always blunt and direct. Yes, he is, and you have to know Dr. Barry well enough to realize he's doing that because he has no time for BS, and he's saying it because his method of saying I love you is giving you information to help change your life, and he doesn't beat around the bush with it. It's actually one of the things I love about him. So if you kind of know how it is he's saying those things, it makes it make a lot of sense. Now, I can't speak to his moderator and what they say, like I said, but I do know Dr. Barry cares very much about his community and the people feeling like he's there to help them. John says, I haven't seen stuffing recipe yet. Well, my friend, after this, you should go watch it because it's a great video, I think. Maritza says, subscribe if you're not already following. Yes, and remember, I have 2 channels. So if you're on the main channel, please go subscribe to the Studios channel if you like this kind of stuff. If you're on the Studios channel and you haven't subscribed either there or to the main channel, please subscribe. And Becky says, got it, Chris. God bless y'all. I'm so grateful to have found you. Well, I'm so grateful that you found me, and I'm blessed to have you here. Shauna says, I was describing Dr. Barry to someone. I said, handsome like John Snyder, voice like Dr. Phil, and blunt. Yes, and I think he'd probably take that as a compliment. Yes, absolutely. Let's see. Well, thank you, Anti-Broken and Bruised, for being a YouTube member. I love that so much. If you guys didn't know, my YouTube members, as well as my Patreon members, are members of the band. So, Shauna, welcome to the band. They get a few extra recipes and some behind-the-scenes stuff, and they are the reason that I'm able to keep this all rolling. So, thank you guys very, very much. And yep, there's a few people welcoming you to the band, my mods. And Shauna says, had that song in my head. I want to be in the band. Got to be in the band. Love it. Love it. Sean says, Dr. Barry does not worry about offending anyone with the truth. Yes, Dr. Barry doesn't seek out offending people, but if people are offended when he knows what he's saying is true, he's also not afraid of that. So, but this also sounds like, with Holly, like maybe something was either misunderstood on the moderator side, on your side, on both sides. I'm not sure. And, again, as much as we like our moderators to be, really, really great people, I don't necessarily know that you can always 100% control how someone says something, when you're kind of trusting them to represent you in those moments. So I'm sure it was probably a misunderstanding on some part. Who knows? Who knows? And it's popping up. Cindy is a member of the band as well. I thought she already was, but maybe not. I don't know. But either way, I know Cindy has been around forever, so I love Cindy. She is just the best. And Patricia says, yeah, we in the band be special. Yeah, you guys are amazing people, and I just I just can't do this without you guys. I really, really can't. So Carnivore K is here. CCN has the best moderators. I agree. I'm very blessed. And I also have the best taste testers, K. In case you guys haven't watched the video of the stuffing, Kay was a guest taste tester, and she did an amazing job. We loved having her and her husband here. It was such a great day. John says, nobody's perfect, and that little blue wrench can't change that. Yeah, unfortunately, that is just the case. And, we're all people, we're all imperfect, and we're just trying to figure out how to do this the best we can together. So, well, guys, we are caught up on comments. We're coming up on almost 2 hours, and I still have 68 of you here. It shows that Stephen Stone is a member. Maybe somebody is gifting memberships. I'm not sure. But Stephen, if you just joined, thank you so much. And if you were gifted a membership, well, then that's fine too. And thank you to whoever would have done that. So either way, thank you. I am so glad that you were here in the band, and we appreciate the support. Sherry says, someday I will join the band when I win the lotto. Broke old lady here. Sherry, you are fine. You are fine. There is no expectation. It is just for those people who want to offer extra support and have a little bit of money that they don't mind just putting towards it. And I try to give them some extra content as a thank you, because without them, I just can't do this. So, but it is all right. Do not feel in any way like you were somehow not living up to something. You're fine. Believe me. There was a day where I wasn't sure if I had a nickel to rub in my thumb, let alone two of them to rub together. So I understand more than anything exactly what you're talking about. Steven says, being a drummer myself, it was time to join the band. Well, Steven, thank you so much. I'm so glad to have you as a member here. And I just put out a holiday dip recipe as a post on the community tab for members, as well as in my Patreon group. So you should totally go check that out, because 'tis the time of year for things like that. So John says, just like and subscribe. That helps too, right, Chris? Yes, absolutely. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, share the videos with people. That just means so much. And Sherry says, I know I support as much as I can with views and comments. And Sherry, that's all I could ever ask of you. I just appreciate that so much. So, well, guys, thank you so much for being here. I think we're going to call it a day right there. I have a guitar lesson today, and then I have some things to start getting ready for dinner, as well as a few things that I need to do for getting ready for the video that we're going to be filming, which I'll then have to edit for Saturday. Ash is going to be back from the studio, hopefully here in a little while, and it's going to be a busy day. So, guys, thank you for being here. Make sure to like and share if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't. Both channels, remember, are there available for you. And keep an eye out for those recipes coming tomorrow for Tuesday night live stream. In the kitchen, we're going to be doing something special, and I actually haven't decided what it is yet. So I'll be doing something, and we'll see if I can holiday theme it maybe. You guys have a fun day. Go watch that stuffing recipe if you haven't. Get ready for the turkey coming on Saturday, and we're going to catch you guys very soon. This is Chris Cooking Nashville. Guys, make sure to eat your meat, love your life, and stay on track even in the face of criticism. I'll see you guys here or in the kitchen or elsewhere for more videos, more recipes, and hopefully some more community inspiration. Guys, have a great day. I'll see you later.